Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today is going to be the second part in our series where we're getting to know each dog a little bit better. And today is the turn of Storm, who is of course Echo's mother, and she is Kate's daughter, so she is the middle of the three generations of dogs we've got here. So guys, Storm can kind of be a coin with two different sides, and we'll get into that a bit later, how she can almost act completely differently at work, but at home, and as you can see, she's quite the little energy source. So Storm can be quite an anxious dog, and I don't mean that in a bad way. A lot of people think when you think anxious, they think anxious, fearful or something like that. Storm is what I would call anxious excited, which means quite a lot of the time she displays anxious behaviours when she wants to do something. So when say if we go up to the farm and I'm taking too long to get on the bike and get going, she'll start displaying anxious behaviours, but that's just because she wants to get going, she wants to go out and do something. Storm's mind never turns off, she's always going one thing to the next. And Storm really is super energetic at home. She's always on, she's always hyper. She's always looking for the next thing to do, the next thing to chew, the next person who's going to give her attention, the next play fight with Echo. She's always, her brain is always on the move. So let's talk about Storm as in a respect with sort of other people and other dogs. Storm really doesn't get along with a lot of other dogs, to be totally honest. It's not all her fault. She gets on with some dogs fine, it really depends on the other dog, but I find Storm's resting energy level is so high compared to other dogs that a lot of dogs just instantly take a dislike to Storm. And I just think that that's part of the energy level, that she's always in such a high energy level that some dogs don't respond well to that. And then also when she is meeting other dogs and she's excited, she does sort of almost go into a frenzy, and that can cause trouble when you're meeting a new dog, because she's too excited when she's meeting other dogs, and that causes problems with her and other dogs as well. But I do find that she does get on with some dogs really great as well. So I think it really depends on the dog that you're meeting, and Storm's energy levels work against her when it comes to integrating with other dogs. Storm can be quite good with people. It really depends on how you introduce yourself, and this is true of a lot of working dogs. If you come in, working dogs are quite easily offended, I find. I think that's the best way to put it, but really they don't see a lot of new people. We live out here on a farm where there's not a lot of people, strange people around, so working dogs can be quite naturally suspicious when they're first meeting new people. So, and I say quite easily offended, because if you come in and you're a high energy, or you're drawing too much attention to the dogs, or you're putting focus on them, or you're trying to baby talk the dogs and stuff like that, that can quite often cause problems with a working dog. But actually, if you come into this garden, even without me, and Storm was out here, and you could come in, as long as you come in with a low energy level and you didn't draw attention to the dog. And what I mean by that is the simple thing, no sort of eye contact with the dog, don't talk to the dog straight away. If you come in and let that dog relax around you, Storm especially is super good with people. She's super affectionate, as you can see with me all the time. Now she is a little bit obsessed with me, but she's actually like that with people in general. Storm is always looking for affection. She's always looking to be the center of attention once she gets to know somebody. So with Storm it can go either way, but it depends more on the person than Storm. If you come in with a low energy and you come in and you allow the dogs to figure you out before you start trying to interact with them, Storm will be completely grand with you. Now there are a couple of things which you would have to know when interacting with Storm. Storm does like to nip fingers, she likes to nip noses and ears, It's not hard. I've never actually been. She's never left a mark or anything like that. It doesn't really hurt. She just confuses her tongue with her teeth sometimes, and if you're not used to that, it can be a bit of a shock, bit of a jarring experience. But when you understand that she really means no harm and it never hurts, if I'm totally honest with you, it's just a quick tap with the teeth and you get used to it. Her sort of quirk, I guess, with Storm is she likes to be elevated. I don't know if this is just because Storm was trained on the bike very young. She likes the bike, she likes being up in the box on the bike, but she actually does it a lot of the time around about the home as well. So you'll see that sort of little, it's like a sort of little wooden ring that goes around the tree. It was actually made out of Storm's dad's kennel when we took that down. She likes to stand up there, she likes to stand on the outside furniture. If you take her into the house, she'll stand on the back of the couch. She just likes to be elevated. I don't know how to explain it fully. I don't know. You guys in the comments tell me if you've experienced this or what you think it might be, but she just likes to be standing up on something. So it's just a thing with her personality, I guess. Loves toys. I'll turn around so you can see her now. But Storm loves toys. She loves pieces of wood. She loves chewing on things. Anything she can get her mouth around, Storm's on. And what she tends to do is she'll play with this for a while, this bone that she's got right now, and then in a little while she'll drop that and she'll go play with something else, and then she'll drop that. So I think for her, she really just loves the sensation of chewing something, and it's when you see her at her most calm because she's got something to do in and around the house, I should say. Another thing that we should mention about Storm, and something that really speaks to her character, is Storm is one of the cleanest dogs that I've ever had. When we're out working in a muddy area, when Storm gets home, she cleans herself. Her kennel, she keeps clean. Storm has a spot where she goes to the toilet. She never uses anywhere else in that spot. Her kennel is so easy to clean because she keeps it clean. She keeps herself clean, and I'm not saying my other dogs don't do that, but to the level that Storm does, Storm keeps herself so clean, and it is so nice to have a dog like that. I can't express how nice it is when a dog's kennel is just so easy to clean and the dog keeps itself clean. It's a really wonderful thing about Storm, and that's probably strange to say. So let's talk about Storm in a working sense, and I said earlier on, Storm is a coin with two sides. And partly this comes from the way Storm works, is when Storm is at work, she is super calm, she is hyper focused, she is the totally opposite she is the rest of the time. When she goes to work, she almost goes into this super calm mode where she is just concentration, and it's almost like all that frantic energy just disappears and she becomes this calm and just super brilliant dog to work with. Storm is a absolutely brilliant dog in open field, and when it comes to her technical ability, Storm is spot on. And when it comes to taking commands too, Storm takes her commands straight away. She almost beats you to them sometimes, and when she's in open field, she's always in good position. She always knows what she's doing. And as an open field dog, she is absolutely fantastic. However, Storm does have some weaknesses too. And when it comes to driving sheep, when it comes to what we would call power as shepherds, Storm lacks it. And don't get me wrong, she's super patient and we'll get there in the end, but when it comes to driving sheep and power working, Storm doesn't work in the pens at all. She's just not got enough power for it. She doesn't like that sort of close range, being boxed in a pen with the sheep. She's not that type of dog that's always wanting to drive. Storm wants to move sheep with her stare. She doesn't really want to get in any sort of physical altercation with them. And even when we're out in the field, if we're driving sheep for a long time and they're slowing down, Storm really won't do much to push them on or keep them going at any pace. Storm really is an open field dog. That's where she really thrives, when it is guiding sheep. And a way you can think about this is it's kind of like a car. So driving sheep is like the engine, it keeps you going forward. Whereas what we would call a heading dog, which Storm is, is basically a dog that steers. It is the steering of the car, and that's where Storm comes in. Storm is basically the steering of the herd. She's the one who directs them. She's out in the open field, changing direction of the herd, whereas a driving dog would be more continuously driving sheep forward. And Storm just isn't good at that. She just doesn't have the power for it, and she is a smaller border collie, but I think it's also mindset as well. Storm would rather wait on those sheep taking their own sweet time than push them on. So that really does come in as an aspect of how I use Storm. If I know we're going to be doing a lot of driving, there's not a lot of sort of like heading work, it's probably not a good idea to take Storm. But when it comes to if you're driving a long distance, you're obviously steering those sheep as well a lot of the time. Storm works extremely well with Echo. They're a phenomenal team because Echo's got that driving element, Storm's got that heading or steering element, and together they're a phenomenal team. Something else about Storm which is definitely worth talking about is at work, Storm is probably the best at taking commands. When she's in that sort of mode, she is super obedient, but actually at home, whereas she's extremely well trained in obedience and things like that, she is the one who will push her boundaries a bit more. In saying that, there's no like huge things that she's going out and like huge problems she's creating, but she does push her boundaries a bit more, you know. So like if you tell her not to go over there, she'll start inching closer and try to push that boundary with you a little bit. And she's just a bit like that. She's one of those dogs who they like to try and push to see where the boundary is and push up to that. And yeah, it's just how she is a bit. And